Welcome back to the channel, the place where we're making your Bronco, your dream Bronco. Hey, if this is your first time here, I'd love to have you subscribe and follow along with me as I'm fully restoring a 1974 Ford Bronco. Also, I'm putting together a PDF of my restoration process, kind of a guide to help anyone else who might do a restoration in the future. If that's something that's interesting to you, check the link in the description below, sign up for my email list, and you can be notified on when that is ready. I paid $2,000 for this Bronco, and my plan is to restore it, keeping track of all the parts and all the time that I spent to, in the end, sell it and turn a profit. So far, what I've done is I've stripped the Bronco down and cleaned up the axles. I've installed the suspension and the brakes, undercoated the new body, and set it on the frame and started reworking the dash. So now what I'm going to be doing is working on the engine, transmission, transfer case, the whole drivetrain, and getting that in the Bronco. And as you can tell, the Bronco's not here. It's not in my garage anymore. I took it down to my buddy Ian's shop. Ian has an incredible YouTube channel, and he is the host of the show Built for Off-Road, Build for Off-Road. He's an amazing guy, and I have filmed with him for years, and we've become friends. And so a couple weeks ago, he was like, all right, John, bring the Bronco down to my shop and let's knock this out. So this is probably gonna go pretty fast, and I'm probably not gonna be as detailed with how I'm filming things, but let's head down to the shop and let me show you all the stuff that I've got going on. Now that we got the body off the Bronco, we're in Ian's shop. I'm gonna start jumping back on to the frame and really getting all the brake lines squared away, getting the fuel lines squared away, getting all of the frame ready for the engine, transmission. One of the things that I got from Tom's was a cross member for the 4R70W. So I'm gonna be putting the 4R70W into this Bronco behind this guy right here. So this is my new engine. Got it from Summit Racing. It's an ATK, it's a 302. But the thing about this was it came with an intake, a distributor. It was the only one that would ship in enough time that I could actually work on it. Note to all of you, figure out what you're gonna do with your engine like way before you need it, because they're just hard to come by and you want to know what you're actually gonna do and not be in the position that I did where I was like, okay, what will actually ship to me? But this shipped in like 4 days from Summit. Got to my door, and I can put the old engine on it and ship it back. And the old engine, I mean, I could have run it, but it would have cost the same amount, and this comes with a warranty. So that's a nice deal, but I'm gonna be changing some stuff around on it. What we're gonna do is throw the Edelbrock intake on here. Edelbrock ProFlo comes with a distributor intake and the throttle body and all that good stuff. And then this is the 4R70W that we're gonna be stripping down and putting in the Bronco. So Ian's been working on the engine, just put the flex plate on, got the Edelbrock ProFlo on with the Edelbrock's distributor. Right now we've got the chromy blingy valve covers on there. So we're gonna mount up the 4R70W and keep on chugging away. So Ian has just completely taken apart the 4R70W because he's a transmission master, and now he's gonna rebuild it. And I'd love to tell you guys what he's doing or how he's doing it, but I have no clue. But all I know is he's got to get that and it's just back inside there. So this is the cross member from Tom's Off-Road, and it comes in two pieces. It fits right where your stock cross member goes, and then comes with this other piece that fits onto the Advanced Adapters adapter for the Dana 20. Oh yeah. So looking at the water pump, it's obviously for a different engine, not for the Bronco. So I'm going to put my old stock water pump on here and see how everything lines up. All right, so I got the stock water pump on and it fits, it goes in place. We'll get a new one, new stock water pump, put that on instead of this ugly one. So now looking at the crank pulley, it lines up with the water pump pulley much better. But now our air conditioner pulley does not line up. All right, I think we're good. Looking at the instructions, you go with the inside of the compressor with the outside of the water pump pulley and the crank pulley. So that does line up. This bolt right here is our bolt for our power steering pump, our Saginaw pump. So we're gonna have to fab up a bracket to go here to hold the pump in place and keep it in line with this. All right, now I said the vintage air kit wouldn't work with the Saginaw power steering pump, and then lo and behold, I found the instructions in which the vintage air kit comes with a power steering pump bracket that goes right along with the old vintage air kit. So got the alternator bracket. I need to make a little spacer right here, kind of hold the alternator bracket in place. This is the wrong pulley for this alternator. Need to get a new pulley for the alternator. Got the water pump, new water pump on there instead of the old nasty one. Front dress is coming together nicely. Kind of got a little, I don't know, black and chrome. Donnie's gonna be proud with the black and chrome. Ian's working on the exhaust over here. just kind of fitting the pieces in there. What we're doing is a 2-into-1 exhaust. So he's got the one pipe bent, and then he's gonna obviously connect this guy right over here. All right, now I just took the timing cover off, and you'd think, well, why did I do that? Well, because this is the major difference for the timing cover for a 1982 Mustang versus our Bronco. So with the water pump on, the bracket right here interferes with our water pump. Now, obviously I could have just cut this still on the motor, but decided to take it off. Now I'm pretty sure on the Mustang this was the crank sensor bracket, I believe. So we don't need it for the Bronco. So I'm gonna cut this off, which is gonna give us room for our water pump. All right, now while I'm still doing the wiring, Ian's going to rebuild the Dana 20, put the new input shaft in there and seal it all up, and we're gonna get it in the Bronco. So like I said, we've got the Tom's Off-Road cross member that will go right in here, but you can see that this washer and the bushing are hitting the body here of the adapter. So to fix that, I'm just going to cut this washer down and shave a little bit off this bushing so it'll slide flush up to the mount right here. I've got my buddy Kevin Tates who's here with me, and we are actually going to start painting today. Now we're just painting the engine bay, so we're going to clean it, seam seal it, and then start the painting process. But if you haven't yet checked out Kevin's YouTube channel, Paintucation, it's incredible. He does some amazing work, and I'm fortunate enough to have him here to show me how to paint my Bronco.
What we're gonna do is have you stand over there, and I'm gonna paint your Bronco.
Perfect. That's how I work best.
No, this is really neat to work on because it's all brand new. And it's really kind of a privilege to work on something that should be rusty and crusty and broken apart and stretched and all the things that's brand new metal. So what we're going to do is clean and prep what's here, which is already in like a silver E-coat or a galvanized coating. It's already rust protected. And then we're going to finish and fill in some of these seams so we don't have any water intrusion into the balloon, into the body. And then we'll just do we'll do satin black.
Yep.
Because it goes with any color.
Yep.
You've already done the Raptor on the bottom, so we're time ahead there. And before too long, it'll look really good, and then you can do whatever you want to do next.
It's perfect. All right, so we've got everything pretty much all together. Just mounted up the Dana 20 on the back of the 4R70W. Got this twin sticks in place. We're gonna see if we can drop the body on top of them, but if not, we'll pull those. It's just one bolt that goes through right here on the adapter. But yeah, I mean, this is just a wiring mess right now because obviously we're still trying to just kind of get everything situated and in place. But for the most part, like, I have most everything loomed. This is the whole part that's going to go through the firewall into the actual Bronco cab. But yeah, I got it all. It's looking really good. We're feeling good about it. It's so nerve-wracking when you're doing this and you're just hoping that it's gonna fire. Like, that's the part that worries me the most right now is one wire, you know, in the wrong spot. Like, is it going to actually run? Is it going to go? And especially when you add a bunch of stuff like the controller for the 4R70W that has to get tapped into the EFI, the whole EFI system that, you know, that needs to be wired correctly to run right. There's a lot going on right now on this, but we're going to drop the body on. We thought we would fire it just in the frame before we put it back in the body, but really, like, we need to throw the radiator in there. We need to, like, get it plumbed right. And so, you know, we're just going to go ahead, put it in the body. If we got to work on anything afterwards, we're going to keep it in the engine bay and just work on it there. So that's the next step. I'm going to throw it in the Bronco. All right, there it is. It is sitting on the frame, body's on the frame, and yeah, feels good, looks good. Now that we got the body back on the frame, possibly for good, we're gonna pull it out from where it was sitting under in the lift and move it where I can work on it a little bit more out of the way. Ian just cut this out on the plasma table. Just a little piece. This is going to go under the Raptor liner, so just going to spot weld it in place. So when I finish this, I'm going to put some Raptor liner on it. I'm going to cover this all with carpet. So I just want to give a little structural support under here. So Ian cut this out on the plasma table, put some holes in it. I'm just going to spot weld it real quick. All right, so we got the Bronco pushed off the lift and over here where I started working on it again, dropped the radiator into place and really quickly noticed that we had a problem. So first, the electric fan that I had isn't gonna fit. The actual electronics of the fan is hitting my water pump pulley. So that's not going to fit. So then I thought, okay, we can go to a mechanical fan, go back to the mechanical fan, build a shroud, but with our compressor for our vintage AC unit, the compressor sits out about 5/8 of an inch further than any of the other pulleys. So that fan is going to hit the compressor. So it's like, okay, one of the things you could do is back up the compressor 5/8 of an inch. And so we're just looking at it, and, you know, or I could bring the radiator. Matt's garage actually did that. He brought the radiator forward to where it was almost touching the core support. So that's an option as well, but I think the best option is gonna actually be going with 2 smaller electric fans that will go on here. It'll offset where the motors are, so the motors aren't gonna be right in the middle hitting the water pump pulley, but I'm gonna keep moving on the engine, get the hoses and everything all squared away, see if those fit, see if those work. It's a lot of trial and error. All right, now the last thing that I'm gonna do today is I'm actually gonna measure for our drive shafts now that the body is back on the frame. The weight is on it, so we're gonna measure for the drive shafts and order them. I'm gonna order them from Tom Woods Drive Shafts. They're a great place. They make custom drive shafts, but they also know Broncos, and so it's a great place to get a drive shaft if you need it a custom length. All right, so that's it for this video. I know I wanted to hear it running so bad. I wanted to get it fired up, but there's still a lot to do, and just kind of the progress of it, it doesn't make sense to fire it up right now. We've been working on this thing for 4 weeks, and so there's so much that, you know, just goes into putting the engine and drivetrain together, and having help, like having Ian here helping me, or being at Ian's shop and having him help me, has been absolutely amazing. So let's go through the breakdown and talk about the hours and how much money I spent. When I started this video on day 42, I had spent $38,835. This time I spent $9,335 on the engine and the accessories, $2,390 on the transmission, crossmember, and the controller, $375 to rebuild the transfer case and get the twin stick shifters, $245 on paint and seam sealer for the engine bay, $750 for the Tom Woods drive shafts, $1,220 for the steering column and the brackets, for a total of $14,315, bringing my grand total spent so far to $53,150. Now, the hours that I spent on this project are going to start adding up a lot faster because Ian is helping me. I'm going to count Ian's hours along with mine whenever he's working on my Bronco with me. We got a lot done in the past few weeks. When I had started this video, I had spent 132 hours in 41 days. This time, we spent a combined total of 164 hours across 17 days. That was over 4 weeks of working on this Bronco. And that total brings us to 296 hours in 58 days. That's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I can't wait to fire this thing up and hear it run.